Hey VC, it's Dave here. It's been a while. Uh, you might have heard that parts of Texas have been under a heat dome. I use quotation marks here. Um, it's been too hot to do anything. It's been above 100 degrees for about a month now. And needless to say, real miserable. I think it's supposed to get up to about 105, something like that again today. And they're predicting rain for next week, which we haven't had either. So if indeed we do get some rain, which we need some rain, or maybe that will drop our temperatures a little bit. You would think there wouldn't be much difference between, say, 97 degrees and 102 or whatever, but really you can really feel it. And I kind of start going a little bit nutty. After you've had about a month or so, or 3 weeks really, of about 100 and 2, 3, whatever, temperatures, I start to go a little bit crazy, but and really get tired of Texas when it gets that way. But what I've been up to lately is since, excuse me, since I've been staying inside, I've rearranged some of my CDs in a rack back there in my bedroom. And I took out a lot of the classical CDs and moved them into the hall, and I put up most of um, the jazz CDs and the rock CDs that I listen to more, and put them up alphabetical order, all that type thing. I think that's how most people do it. But anyway, um, I did watch a couple of movies here the past couple of weeks. One of them was called The Whale with Brendan Fraser. And there were two movies that I saw that were done by Darren Aronofsky, if I'm saying his name right. One of them was The Whale, and the other one was Mother. And The Whale, I think, was really one of his better movies, uh, about a man that is trying to rekindle his relationship with his daughter. And yeah, really a kind of heartfelt film. Uh, and the other one, called Mother, was real different. Didn't quite win me over. I mean, it's an interesting enough film to see once. Don't know that I'd care to see it again. It was kind of marketed as a horror film, but I really didn't think it was a horror film. It was kind of more of a thriller or something like that, and a kind of an art film also, and with a vague meaning to it, or a vague, you know, what's this film about? And I think part of it was about, she was married to this poet, and I think part of it was about egos, and this guy had an ego, and sort of liked hero worship and all that type thing. And I think part of it was about that, and maybe about hangers on too that like to follow, famous people. But there are a lot of other things that he threw in that film that I'm still kind of digesting, and yeah, I don't know. Just the way it was done was pretty bizarre. So if you like an art film, or you like films that aren't really pat as far as their plot, you may like that. What I got here at home right now is this movie called The Booksellers. And since those two films were really kind of heavy, I thought I'd rent this. And this is a documentary about, got it off of Netflix, about booksellers in New York City. And it says a lively tour of New York's book world, populated by an assortment of obsessives, intellects, eccentrics, and dreamers, past and present, from Park Avenue, uh, Armory's annual antiquarian book fair. So it's really just a documentary of, booksellers, bookstores, and the people that inhabit them. And then I also saw another kind of a crazy lighter film called Samurai. Oh golly, I forget the name of the total name of it, but I'll leave a link below if you're interested in watching it. I found it on YouTube, and it was just kind of a mixture of samurai film, kung fu film, and spaghetti western. I've since learned, that spaghetti western is not the politically correct, I'll use quotation marks here again, politically correct way to, put those films. A lot of people say you should be using Italian films. Sometimes I get kind of antsy when things get so, particular that way. I just think that, I don't really think saying something is spaghetti western is necessarily offensive. Yeah, I don't know, Italian western, however you want to call it, but it was kind of a kung fu Italian western, sort of in the mold of something like Clint Eastwood's early spaghetti westerns, Hang 'em High and all that type thing. And it was rather silly, there's no other way to put it. It was a B or C film, but, it had its entertainment values. And oddly enough, I was also on Steve Hoffman forums this week, and one guy put up a post that was wondering why movie studios don't want us to, own hard media or DVDs. And I put up my answer why, and it's, the reason I think is because if you don't own any hard DVDs or physical media, then you've got to rent everything, which just means you're more or less at the mercy of renting everything from studios. And so if you want to rent a movie for a birthday party, or rent a movie for a Saturday night, you've got to rent it. You can't really, or if you had friends over, and you want to show them a movie, you're not able to do that unless you already have a library, like I do. I have a library of DVDs that I, have collected over the years. And so that was my answer, more or less. And then this guy got on the forums and was like, well, does anybody still rent movies like that? And he put it in an odd way, but I was like, I tried explaining it to him that, if you're streaming something, you're still renting it, right? Or, I guess you could say, even if you went to a library, you are more or less kind of renting it, or it's on loan. But also, if you got other places like Redbox, and a lot of movies like on Amazon, they may not have it in their library. If you are an Amazon member, it may not be in their library to watch for free, but you can rent it for $1 or $2 or something like that, or $3. And I tried explaining it to that guy on the forum, and he was like, he came back again and he said, but does anybody actually still rent, media like that? I'm not talking about buying DVDs or whatever. And I was like, well, yeah. I answered him again, and I said, yes, they do. You can, I explained it to them. I said, there's Redbox, there's Amazon, and people still do that. In fact, I live in kind of a medium-sized town here, and there's a place here that rents video games and movies, and they sell comics as well. It's just kind of a media place. And, we're not a big metro town here or nothing, but, so they don't have like a huge inventory like Blockbuster or anything. But like if you were living in Austin or Dallas or Fort Worth or San Antonio or someplace like that, I did a search, and there are places like that that you can go there and rent films or rent DVDs from, and I put that up there. And then again, he comes back again and says, evidently you're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm like, I get it, man. You're not understanding what I'm saying. Anyway, weird exchange on Steve Hoffman's forum. And after the third exchange, I was like, no more, dude. Either I'm missing what you're saying or you're missing what I'm saying. So, let's call it quits. But here's some albums I listened to here lately. This is Traffic's first album, Mr. Fantasy. And I hadn't heard it in a while and was wanting to hear it. Pretty interesting little album, actually. A tinge of psychedelic music is in here. And yeah, I don't think, I like the second Traffic album better than this one overall. And some of their other ones, like John Barleycorn, better than this one. But I think one of the reasons is this copy, at least that I have, is not recorded very well. It's kind of tinny sounding. This is on a United Artists. And I don't know, maybe if that was maybe not the best label for somebody to record on. But overall, the songs on it are pretty neat. I do enjoy that aspect of it. It's just that I don't like the way that the recording of this album sounds. It just sounds real thin to me for whatever reason, but I do like the songs on it. Also, listen to this. This is the last album by the Mamas and the Papas. And it's a real nice album. It's kind of soft pop. This album was given to me by Jeff at Vinyl Spin. He was talking about it and asked me if I would like a copy of it. He had 2 copies. And he was kind enough to send it to me. So, yeah, real nice soft pop. Probably in the vein of something like The Association or, oh golly, there was a lot of soft pop back in the late 60s. And I'm forgetting names right now. But yeah, The Association, something like that. So, yeah, nice album. And he sent me this one as well. This is a Camels. I don't know what album this is of theirs. Maybe their 5th or 6th album, maybe. I don't know. This is Breathless. And if you like Camel, which is very similar to Pink Floyd and that type of progression, you might like Camel as well. Maybe a tad bit of Canterbury might be in there. But yeah, they're a really neat band. They did Snow Goose and, several other ones as well. So yeah, real nice combination of keyboards and guitars. I've been reading this. This is Hawk Moon, Jewel in the Skull. This is adapted from the Michael Moorcock book of Hawk Moon. I really like the art in it too. Let's see if you can see that. Who is by Raphael Kayanen. That's how I'm saying his name right. Jerry Conway adapted this. But yeah, I looked this guy up, and he's a Filipino artist. But I think his art is really pretty good. And so I've been enjoying the art and the story, actually. So yeah, Hawk Moon. This is on First. I believe this is the first. They release these on individually first, and I think this is the first 2 books that they did combined into one kind of sort of graphic novel type thing. And then I was looking at this too. This is John Constantine Hellblazer, Original Sins. This is the first collected book. I think it's the first 10, if I'm not mistaken. John Constantine first showed up in Swamp Thing. And again, it has some pretty nice artwork. I like it. It's real moody, almost maybe psychedelic at times. But yeah, I think, yeah, Jamie Delano wrote this. John Ridgway and Alfredo Alcala was the one that did the inking on it. So yeah, just kind of a spooky type of read, comic book, horror, I guess you could say. Then I ordered this as well. This is Joe Kubrick's last, well, maybe not his last thing. I think he did something after this too. But I remember reading the first issue of this, which came in an oversized format. I think there were 3 of them. And it's sort of a prehistoric tale. And yeah, it was, prehistoric tales were pretty popular way back in the day, although this was released, I think, in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. Joe Kubrick died not too long ago. I'm thinking maybe in the 2000s somewhere. But he used to have a school that he taught cartooning in. And this is from, I shouldn't say from that school, but he taught at the school and he established the school. So yeah, this is just a prehistoric tale from back then. And yeah, I know that people didn't exist with dinosaurs, but I always liked that type thing. Then I also found this as well that I've been reading bits and pieces on. This is a companion to Stephen King companion. And it's a nice thick book that kind of talks about, him growing up and different things about Stephen King. I've also been watching a show. I'm just about through with it on Hulu, which is the book that Stephen King wrote about the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And it's called 11/22/1963. And it's, I believe, a 6-part series. And so far, it's been pretty good. It's about a guy that enters the time portal, which that's the biggest, I guess, leap of faith. You have to just go with it, But it's kind of like a mixture of science fiction, a little bit of horror. And in it, this guy goes to the past in the 60s and more or less coerced on by somebody that he knows and plans to kill Kennedy, hoping that will, make our future brighter here in the States. But anyway, it's been a real interesting series. And like I said, I have been rearranging my CDs in the back. And I thought I'd just grab the first 5 jazz CDs that I have already sorted out. But then I thought, well, I'll grab the first 5 jazz CDs and then I'll grab the first rock CDs that I have back there and show those. This one here, the first 5 jazz ones that I came across. This is Suzanne. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name right. Abule, called Compass. And it's on ECM. I listened to it this morning. It's still a pretty nice CD. It's all real subtle and sort of composed in a way. Unusual. She just does the voice on here, although I guess she maybe arranges the songs as well. But she does the voice, and then there's a piano, 2 clarinets and a bass clarinet, and then drums and percussion. And this really reminds me a lot of one of Sting's CDs. They're very similar in atmosphere. And the one that it reminds me of, and I'm not going to be able to remember it. I don't know if it's over there or not. But it's the one with the ship on the cover, which I think was maybe his 4th or 5th CD. Very kind of calming and I guess you might say slow, but also kind of atmospheric. But yeah, not a bad CD at all. So that's Suzanne Abule. This is a John Abercrombie Works. This is on the ECM label as well. It's just an assortment of his earlier music, which I tend to like maybe some of his later music a little bit better. Actually, I do like it better. But this one has more fusion-y stuff on it. This one here is called String Alchemy, From Electric to Electric. And it's a various artists are on here. Compilation. It's got people on it like Larry Coryell. Oregon is on here. Sandy Bull does 2 songs on here. Peter Walker, Mimi and Richard Farina. John Fahey does a song on here. So yeah, it's just a compilation of various artists. This is Acoustic Alchemy, Red Dust, and Spanish Lace, which is a real good British guitar duo, and very upbeat sort of tunes. And yeah, you can listen to this just about any time. It's on the GRP label. So yeah, here's another one by them, Natural Elements. And again, another nice LP. There they are right there, if you can see that. And then in the rock part, I've got William Ackerman, Past Light. Don't know if William Ackerman, you'd classify him as rock. He started out kind of new age, but you know, he's just really an acoustical guitarist, the way I'd put it. He actually started this Windham Hill label, and then I think he sold it to somebody else. But all of his stuff is really good as far as I'm concerned. He just writes these really down-to-earth, sort of wooden, natural tunes, sort of beautiful. So yeah, Will Ackerman. This is Alice Cooper's Pretties for You. I always like this cover here. Probably one of my favorite Alice Cooper albums. Very bizarre back with them standing with these sort of metal sculptures. No hits are on here particularly that I know of. Just, yeah. Early Alice Cooper album. Allman Brothers, Eat a Peach. I got that tune called Melissa stuck in my head this week, and had to pull this out and play it here the other day. But long jams with, Mountain Jam is 33 minutes on here. And of course, you know, they're a blues band. This is the best of Amenduel 2, German rock band. Just like it says, it's just kind of like a best of from 1969 to 1974. Pretty interesting packaging. Pretty good CD too, if you want to hear a you know, best of type thing. Anklagard. This is a band from Scandinavia somewhere. I want to say Denmark or Sweden. I think they're from Sweden. But yeah, kind of in kind of an abstract, almost like if you took Yes and went further with that sound, although they're a lot more abstract, I think. But interesting band. So yeah, Anklagard. I like them. I like to be challenged from time to time. And then I was listening to this too. This is a box set of Yes called In a Word, which has various selections from all their different albums, starting from the first one going up to, I don't know, up around, not sure where. But yeah, pretty artwork in it. I'm forgetting who that artist is, but yeah, real nice artwork. Uh, nicely done packaging. Roger Dean, that's who does the artwork in this thing. I think it's 5 CDs, but yeah. Then it comes with a little booklet like this. It talks about the, overview of Yes, and where all the members came from, who the members are, the various different members, what they play, and all that type thing. So, yeah, pretty neat little box set if you run across it pretty cheap. So, anywho, that's what I've been up to lately. Hope y'all have been enjoying your summer. I'm ready for the temperatures to drop a little bit, quite truthfully. And so, hope you're doing well, and we'll talk to you later.